He built his fame online. Charming, funny, beloved by millions. But stop. Behind the screen, something terrifying was growing. Everyone saw the signs, but no one said a word. This isn't just a story about crime. It's about silence. It's about us. And if you think it can't happen again... In the corner of a dimly lit room sits Alex. Alex, 24, was once just a quiet artist. A dreamer with notebooks full of sketches. But as the world outside ignored him, the online world worshipped him. In that dark room, every like, every cheer felt like fuel. What his fans didn't see was what forensic psychologists call violent ideation. A fixation on harming others. Hidden behind cryptic poetry and edgy memes, the online audience called him brilliant. But each post was a deeper descent into darkness. His mother, Mrs. Johnson, stands outside his room, clutching an old drawing he made as a child. She remembers the bright-eyed boy who used to ask about the stars, now unreachable behind locked doors and screens. Outside, Tyler scrolls through Alex's posts. Words like purify, cleanse, and destroy jump off the screen. Tyler feels a knot in his stomach, a friend's fear no one wants to admit out loud. At the same time, Dr. Grace Mensa, a forensic psychologist, is shown in her office, reviewing anonymous reports about Alex's posts. She underlines words, noting what she calls leakage, dangerous hints at real-world violence hidden in online performances. We even see Maya, a community therapist, watching one of Alex's viral videos on her phone, shaking her head. She knows too well how ignored signs can spiral into tragedy. This isn't just about Alex alone. It's about every person on the edge, every loved one who wonders if they should have done more. In these quiet moments, as screens glow and hearts pound, a storm is already brewing, and everyone around him can feel the distant thunder. As Alex's online following grows, so does his darkness. His posts become more erratic, cryptic references to cleansing, purification, the final act.
To an untrained eye, it looks like edgy performance art. But to a forensic psychologist, these words scream intent. It's what experts call escalation behavior when violent ideation progresses from fantasy to planning.
In the kitchen, Mrs. Johnson clutches a photo of young Alex in a soccer jersey. Tears drip onto the frame as she wonders when the son she knew disappeared into the shadows behind that door. Her intuition screams, but the fear of confrontation keeps her paralyzed. Outside, Tyler paces, phone in hand. He replays Alex's voice messages over and over, each one more disturbing. Tyler recognizes the disorganized thought patterns, the slipping line between fantasy and reality, something Dr. Grace calls psychotic decompensation. Dr. Grace herself pores over flagged reports. Her pen underlines phrases, her brow furrows. "He's externalizing blame," she mutters, classic sign of a developing violent offender profile. She picks up the phone to call a local mental health crisis line, her fingers trembling, knowing time is running out. Meanwhile, Maya speaks to a circle of young adults at a community center. "When someone talks about violence, don't dismiss it," she says, her voice steady but urgent. "It's not just a joke, it's not just art, it's a cry and a threat." In Alex's room, the glow of the screen reflects in his wide, manic eyes. Every like, every comment fuels his distorted mission. In these quiet, separate corners of the community, hearts pound. They all sense the gathering storm, but no one can stop the lightning from striking. Tonight, Alex steps out into the cold night, his breath visible in the dark. Each step feels like a drumbeat in his chest, the final act he's been rehearsing online for months. In his mind, he's not committing violence, he's correcting a broken world. This is cognitive distortion, a dangerous psychological filter that reframes brutality as purpose. Inside his cozy living room, Sam laughs at an old comedy. A kind man, always eager to help his neighbors, he has no idea death is walking up his driveway. Back home, Mrs. Johnson collapses on Alex's bed, clutching his childhood blanket. I should have knocked harder, listened more, she sobs, her guilt a heavy, choking fog. Outside, Tyler finally dials 911. It's my friend, he's going to hurt someone, he says, voice cracking. This is what criminologists call a bystander moment, when the chance to intervene teeters between action and regret. At her desk, Dr. Grace frantically flips through Alex's online posts, recognizing a pattern she calls behavioral escalation cues, final warnings before violence erupts. Her hands shake as she calls the authorities, praying it isn't too late. Maya sits alone, rearranging therapy chairs, unaware of the tragedy unfolding just blocks away. She often teaches about trauma response cycles, but tonight, her community is about to enter one for real. Then, chaos. The front door splinters. Sam's laughter becomes a scream. In seconds, the warmth of his home transforms into a crime scene. When sirens finally pierce the night, they find devastation. A friend lost, a mother shattered, a community forever scarred. And in those broken moments, the question echoes, how many signs must we ignore before we learn to act? Days later, the neighborhood breathes in quiet grief. Outside Sam's home, flowers and candles whisper silent apologies, each one a small confession. We should have done more. In the community center, Sam sits hunched forward, eyes hollow. His hands tremble as he tries to hold a cup of tea. This is the early stage of acute trauma response, the mind's desperate attempt to make sense of senseless violence. Beside him, Maya leans forward, voice soft but firm. It's not your fault. What happened wasn't because you were weak. You survived, she says, weaving in affirmation therapy, a crucial step in trauma healing. At the front, Dr. Grace points to slides showing Alex's social media posts. These were not just edgy, she tells the group. This was leakage-coded warnings of impending violence. Her voice wavers. We miss them because we didn't want to see them. In a corner, Mrs. Johnson clutches Alex's baby photo, eyes red and distant. She cycles through complicated grief, questioning every moment she might have changed his path. Tyler stands by the door, head bowed. He is locked in survivor's guilt, asking himself why he hesitated, why he didn't call sooner. Together, they form a circle of scarred souls, a community learning too late the price of silence. Now, we turn to you. Yes, you watching this. Violence doesn't happen in a vacuum. It grows in neglect, in disbelief, in the quiet moments when we look away. Ask yourself, what warning signs would you recognize now? Who might need your voice before it's too late? Share your thoughts below. Let's talk, let's listen, let's act before another community writes a story in blood. Subscribe for more stories that don't just reveal, but awaken.